So being popular in elementary school honestly isn't that difficult. I don't know why people think it's hard to be popular, but I know back when I was in elementary school, the only way you had to be popular was being either the fastest kid or the prettiest girl. Comment down below which one were you guys, but for me, I was neither of them. Yeah, literally neither. I remember back in my grade 3 year, I was just a basic kid, just hanging out, doing my own thing, and honestly, the only thing I was really good at was playing Call of Duty. But then I remember out of nowhere, there was this one kid in my class that always felt like he had something to prove. I don't know why this kid was so annoying, but to this day, I still remember his face, and it makes me want to just end his whole career. Going on though, I remember it got so annoying, and this kid would always come up to kids being like, "Oh, your pencil is like one of those basic orange ones? Well, I have this special lead pencil." Bro, we don't care you have a lead pencil. I don't know. He would always say the most bizarre things ever. And I'm not gonna lie, even though he was super competitive, we all understood why. And the main reason was that this guy had a major crush on one of the girls in our class. Now, funny enough, when I say in our class, she wasn't actually in our class. She was the grade 5 helper that was sent from the grade 5 class to come and help us little kids. So I'm just in grade 3, minding my own business, while this grade 3 student that was sitting next to me that's always super competitive is trying to rizz up this baddie of a grade 5. Okay, I just realized how bad that sounded. Tommy, can we just like maybe I don't even know. Anyways, aside from the Diddy stuff, no joke, it made me super uncomfortable knowing this. And honestly, even my teacher found this really cute. So I'm just like in my own mind, ignoring everything that's going on every time she would enter the classroom. But then the most craziest thing happened where one day at lunchtime, I remember walking with this kid towards the playground, and we were all gonna play Grounders, one of the most iconic games to ever play in elementary school. And as I walk up with this kid and we're just like, you know, minding our own business, out of nowhere, a grade 5 ends up walking up to this kid's crush and ends up saying, "Hey, you want to see how fast I am?" And he ends up running super fast by her. And for some reason, I thought this was super cringe until I noticed this girl was actually genuinely impressed. Yeah, no joke. This grade 5 that was running just across the field ended up getting the awes of so many women in our school. It actually kind of like made me realize how dumb we are when we're young, because like who cares if you're the fastest? No one's faster than Speed. Well, to be fair, we didn't have Speed back then. He was still in high school, but overall, like, it just made absolutely no sense. But I remember when this grade 3 student that was super annoying and competitive ended up seeing this guy, all the girls like that, he ended up walking up to me being like, "Yo, Bubba, watch this." And he ends up walking up to that grade 5 student being like, "Hey man, I bet I'm faster than you." "Oh yeah, you think you're faster than me?" is what this grade 5 says. And me, I thought he was gonna get beat the life out of him, but surprisingly, they ended up setting up races. At this point on, no joke, we had over 10 races happen that lunchtime. I don't even know how, but some way we did, and it was so weird just seeing students not even playing in the playground, but just racing each other. It was like the live stream from I Show Speed and Ashton Hall racing each other over and over again. This was literally the same thing, and it was so cringe. It got to the point where even students were arguing of who finished first, and we had to set up cameras and stuff, but since we weren't allowed our phones in school, we would get in trouble. As for me, I thought all this was dumb the entire time. Probably how you guys are thinking it is as well. So I remember I ended up actually just sitting in the corner of the field and pulling out my Nintendo DS playing Super Smash Brothers. But sadly, the story gets a lot worse, because I remember one day at lunch, I want to say this was like a week later, this competitive kid ends up walking up to me and he says to me, "I bet I'm faster than you, bro." Okay, cool. But for some reason, this grade 5 girl ended up seeing how this kid was talking to me, and she walks up to us saying, "It's okay, guys. It doesn't matter who's the fastest." And this kid got super upset that I was basically egoing him. So he's like, "No, I'm way faster. I swear I'm faster than him." Yeah, I still didn't care. And I remember I started to ignore him even more till it got to the point where students started gathering around me around the field and saying, "Bubba, you should just race him, bro. Race him." And at that moment, I ended up having to race this guy. I remember we ended up lining up, and me and him, we just like looking at each other, and one thing led to another. This girl ends up saying, "Okay, ready, set, go." And this kid ends up sprinting so fast, like no joke. I was actually concerned that his legs were gonna break, but as he was running and sprinting super quick, and I remember as he was sprinting so quick, I started to worry until something insane happened, where he actually ended up falling down and face planting onto the floor. At that moment, this girl ends up coming up to me and putting her arm around my shoulder saying, "Oh, Bubba, you won." And I'm just looking back at how he face planted, so I walked up to him and actually stood him up and said, "Yo, bro, are you okay?" "Yeah, I want a rematch." "No, don't worry, dude. You're way faster than me." Anyways, I'm done racing. And I walked away. At that moment, when everyone realized how easily I just didn't care about the win, the races kind of slowly started becoming less of a trend. It was still cool and popular to be the fastest kid, but overall, no one cares if you're the fastest anymore. Like when we all grow up, the only thing that's a flex is having more money. But if you guys went to elementary school, fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.